Hey there, cats and kittens. Welcome back to Crossover Tech, episode 20. I am Eric Freshley from Freshley Stream Games, and I'm joined by Hunter Davenport.
What up?
We got a lot to talk about. We always try to, and let's jump right in, I suppose. I did something I didn't intend to do. Well, okay. I was planning on streaming Mortal Kombat 1 story mode in several parts, but instead I just played through the whole damn thing in one sitting. I finished it. It took about 6 hours. I was playing on easy mode, I should say. Mm-hmm. And boy, did I love it. I really loved it a lot. Well, I just actually closed the thing. So, I'm not great at fighting games, so I can't really talk to you too much about the mechanics of the game versus Street Fighter versus Tekken and all these things. I do know that Mortal Kombat 11 was not so beloved on a gameplay level over time, especially by like the pro community. I think casual people liked it a lot. I had fun with it, but I'm not that guy to I almost always have fun with these games since Mortal Kombat 9. So, it's tough for me to say which one's the best, but this one, I do cool shit, and that's really all I can ask for, honestly. Even as somebody who's not great at these things, I can put together some basic combos, and the game just flows well for me. Better than, I've always had an easier time inputting combos and special moves in Mortal Kombat than I do in, say, Street Fighter or Tekken. I don't know what it is, just the way that, they're usually pretty easy, just usually down, back, B will do a move, and down, forward, A will do a move, and that works for me. And whereas sometimes I struggle with the inputs in other fighting games. The story mode, I should say, is... I think a lot of people were thinking because it's a reboot, but it's not really, that, hey, this might be a good jumping on point. Boy, oh boy, it's not. If you don't know Mortal Kombat, especially 11 and Aftermath, but even, I'd say 9 and 10 also, the last three and the DLC for 11, you're going to be pretty lost when some twists happen in the story. Aftermath and 11 are almost required playing for this game, which really kind of surprised me. Now, as somebody who played both those, it worked for me. I loved it. I thought some of the twists they did were completely unexpected and fucking phenomenal. That being said, once they do get to the climax, the very ending, there's aspects of it I love and aspects of it I don't like so much. The final boss is kind of underwhelming, honestly. It's just a normal fight, to be truthful. There's no boss mechanic like when you were fighting Kronika or even Shao Kahn in 9. This is just a normal ass fight, and it's pretty easy to win. I was playing on easy, but still. And so that was a little disappointing, but some of the fan service that are in that last chapter really will tickle you if you're an MK fan who kind of know this series and know some of the Easter eggs to it. There's a lot of it that's like, oh, wow, I can't believe they actually brought some of this stuff back. Yeah, so overall, I really, really liked it. Megan Fox is terrible.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of clips of her saying things in the game, and I was like, damn, they really did not try with her.
They did not try at all, and I don't know if it's entirely her fault, but also, it feels like they should have put some, she's a vampire. I feel like they should have put some voice modulation on her or something to make her sound scarier or something. No, it's just her voice-ass normal voice coming out of a vampire's mouth, and it's really fucking weird. That being said, in the story mode, she's not a big part of it anyway. It's Natara. Yeah. She's not a big character.
It's cool she's in it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But boy, that was disappointing. I expected when they announced she was going to be in it, well, it can't be as bad as Ronda Rousey. Well, it is honestly almost as bad.
They found a way somehow.
They did. I don't know why they keep screwing this up. All right. Well, Ronda Rousey, I don't think you can do anything with.
No,
that's just a bad idea. Megan Fox, I think this could have worked, but it didn't. Real shame about that. Some people online are mad because the customization, I feel, is a little bit toned down from MK11, but I feel MK11 went way too overboard, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
The game is absolutely fucking gorgeous. Like,
NetherRealm is really good at making really gorgeous games.
yes. Yeah, they get dinged a lot on their animation. I don't really have a problem with it. It works for me. I know if you slow it down and take it frame by frame, some of the characters get awkward poses. But who the fuck? You don't play games like that.
It's very stiff compared to other fighters, and that's my problem with it. I just don't like how it feels to play, personally. But they are really good at the technical aspect of making a gorgeous game.
Yeah. The fatalities are just as over the top as ever, maybe more so than ever. They're hilarious at this point. I will say, actually, I should mention, speaking of kind of the story mode, and this is gonna rub some people the wrong way because it seems this sense of humor does nowadays, but the story mode does get kind of Marvel-ish in terms of its humor at times, which I don't know if like other MKs, it's a ridiculous franchise, right? But I don't know if it's not as quippy. And this, I don't know. It's not constant in this at all. It's only a couple times, but there's some parts like, I wouldn't have expected. They would never do something like that in MK, 10, which was like tried to treat itself deadly serious, but I don't know. Yeah, it worked for me a lot. I really enjoyed it. That being said, that might be the end of me playing that game. Like, I might go into Invasions mode a little bit, which is their replacement for the Crypt. I have not touched that stuff at all, but I usually just play the story. And then, it's funny, MK11 I would install every couple months or so, and usually, because I always end up I get suckered into buying the deluxe editions, so usually the DLC comes out, and I'll take the character into training mode, or just, look at their skins, and that's it. And I'll probably end up doing that again, because I'm a sucker. But, that's probably the last time I actually played the game for real. But whatever, it's really fun for me. It works for me, and it's a game. I guess the bottom line is, even if you're not good, the game still makes you feel like you're doing cool shit. And that works for me. Like, when I was Baraka, I was flipping around doing just stuff that seemed crazy to me. Like, I'm sure if you're, really good at these games, you'll look at it and say, you're playing like a jackass, which I'm sure I am. But I don't know. It worked for me. You're not into MK at all, right? So you're not going to be playing this.
Not a huge MK fan. This is how I play every MK game.
Yeah.
It'll go on sale for like $10, and the DLC will be like $1, and then I'll buy all the DLC and play it for like 20 minutes and realize I don't like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I get it. It does, it's so strange how, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter are in the exact same genre, but just feel so different.
Yep.
And
very different.
And just one can absolutely work for you, and the other cannot. I haven't even tried Street Fighter 6 yet. I would like to, but
I have not either, and I'm really sad about it. But
yeah,
I'll get to it eventually, hopefully.
I'd like to do that story mode at the very least. Tell me some cool stories about Starfield.
Starfield continues to be amazing. I'm about 40 hours in. I haven't really been playing because I've been working a lot. But yeah, that's a fantastic video game. I don't know if it's better than Baldur's Gate 3, but it is definitely my favorite video game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in terms of, if we're trying to, for whatever the fuck this means, if we're trying to be objective or whatever, I don't think Starfield's going to be beating Baldur's Gate or Zelda for Game of the Year at many places.
No, it's not.
Yeah. But for the people it works for, boy, it seems to really work, and you're definitely one of them.
Yeah, that is a fantastic video game that it's funny because I'm like reading tweets from people playing it, and they're like figuring stuff out about it, and it's like stuff that I've already figured out, and I'm like, okay, but how is there, I don't understand why there's this big disconnect between people who've played this and other Bethesda games so far. Maybe it's just because it's so big, but it's very strange watching people talk about this game.
Yeah. From kind of an outside perspective, because again, I haven't even touched it yet, but it feels like the people who aren't digging it, what it seems like what they really dug in Skyrim is being able to walk around and finding cool things all the time, And it
Yeah.
sounds like Starfield, walking around isn't necessarily the best way. Like,
No.
it's not just explore and you'll find cool shit necessarily. A lot of it is, say, fly around to different planets. I don't know.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I hear fast travel is a big part of Starfield. Maybe that's
It
just
is.
what they don't like. Maybe they just want to walk everywhere and have the environment be interesting at all times, I guess. Is my...
I mean, it is very much Oblivion in space.
Mhm.
Because in Oblivion, you could fast travel anywhere on the map, essentially.
Yeah.
So like it's like that. It's a different kind of Bethesda game, one that they haven't made in a while, and I think people are just not kind of receptive to it anymore. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, but it's a good video game. I really enjoy it. I feel like a lot of people enjoy it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. You know, in some ways, in a very 10,000 foot view, kind of reminds me of Borderlands in the way of, hey, it hasn't really changed that much, but there are some people that are still really digging that formula, and some people who are just sick of it.
Yep.
And I guess just Borderlands is on the mind because of a story we're going to talk about in a minute. You know, there's probably better examples, but that's just the one coming ahead. You have any? I mean, with that, I guess it's been out for a couple weeks, so I guess we can maybe get into some slight spoilers, but not go
Sure.
overboard. Do you have any cool stories of funny stuff or weird stuff that's happening?
There's a lot of weird stuff. Like I randomly encountered a grandma out in space who gave
Yeah.
me food. There's a guy who sings sea shanties out in space as well.
Ooh, I like that.
I did like a mission that was basically aliens. That was pretty sick. Yeah, that game is filled with like little moments where I'm like, wow, they really put a lot of thought into like what's going on in this universe.
Well, they had a shit ton of time to work on it and fill this
They
game
sure
up.
did. They sure did.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds fun. I do want to give it a shot, but boy, it's just a packed year, and also that game is just intimidating.
It's very intimidating.
It feels like really diving in the deep end of the pool there. So I'm a little scared, but I don't want to do it. Speaking of, you know, kind of intimidating and diving deep into the pool, I'm still doing Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is a problem in my life. Truly, it is. I feel like I've not been streaming very much because I streamed when I started that game, and then I eventually stopped because I feel like I play it in a boring way to watch. Like I'm in menus a lot. I do a lot of inventory management, a lot of shit like that. Like, so I just kind of stopped. I will when we do the co-op run when it's on Xbox. I'm gonna stream all that because I think it'll be more fun with more people around. But so because I'm doing that, like I feel like I'm not. My channel's kind of stagnated because I've not been posting videos because all I want to do is play Baldur's Gate. I've not been editing shorts, which I badly need to do because all I want to do is play Baldur's Gate. I fucking haven't went and got a haircut, which I badly need because I just want to play Baldur's Gates. I took some time off work, which I probably shouldn't have done, but because I wanted to play this game. Like, it's just, and I'm thinking about it all the time when I'm not playing it. It is becoming a real issue. I need to just finish it. I truly do, and I'm almost there. I'm in I think about halfway through Act 3. I think. I'm probably doing too many side quests, like because I want to do them all. I got all the companions now except for the one that you can't get if you unless you play Super Evil. I just got the Minsk last night. Man, it's just so fucking deep, that game, and so you just have so much freedom in that game. It's absolutely crazy.
It's funny that game is like so popular. Like when it was coming out, when I was playing in early access a couple years ago, I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." Like I'm sure this is gonna catch on in some way. I wasn't sure it was gonna be this big.
It's
like people I know who don't play games are playing Baldur's Gate 3, and it's very strange.
It's crazy. This game on paper should be a niche game. Like, the Divinity games were not, like, they were big, but they weren't anything like this. This is probably fucking 10 times the size of the Divinity games. We talked about that when it came out, why that is. I think, I do think the bear sex thing was actually a huge part of it.
Yep.
Boy, there's a lot of sex in this game. I just finally, I guess this is a slight spoiler, but I found out my girlfriend in the game, Shadowheart, is poly, so I also fucked a demon, and she was like, "That's cool. I'm down with it." I was like, woohoo!
Okay, damn.
Yeah. So that was fun. I think there's another opportunity that I'm close on with somebody else also, and Shadowheart seems all right with it all. I got Shadowheart. You know, the game's been out a month, like almost 2 months now, so I'm not gonna go crazy again. Spoilers, but you know, I got Shadowheart to renounce her god, and for me, which was fucking cool, because her god was bad news.
Yeah.
I don't know, now I'm in Act 3, and I've been in Act 3 for quite a while, so I guess I don't want to get too much into Act 3 spoilers, and it's tough to remember some of the stuff happened in Act 2. I did, there was a side quest that I missed out on and had some bad consequences for me because I didn't do it soon enough. There are some times in this game where, like, hey, some of the stuff you need to do in a certain order or you miss out on. And that's a good thing. I think that just makes sure decisions matter. And hey, you can't save everyone. You can't always be the hero. Like, you can't be two places at once. You do have to make choices. And so sometimes this was apparently it was a choice that I didn't really realize was a choice. Which is, I guess it's tough to explain. But I thought I might be able to do this side mission kind of alongside a main mission, and it turned out I couldn't, and I got a bunch of people killed for it, which was a shame. But oh well, what are you gonna do? Things happen. Boy, I'm just loving the hell out of this game, and I hope by next episode that I'm done with it, but who knows? Keep your fingers crossed. So I believe that's it for games that we have played, because the two big ones, Starfield and Baldur's Gate, are just like time sinks. Absolutely.
Yes, they are.
There was a couple things we could have made the topic of the week here, and it's all bad news. It does. And last week we did last episode we did a bunch of bad news.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know. It feels like in some ways shit's going sour. Kind of all over the place. But let's talk about Embracer. We had last episode talked about how they got rid of Volition, closed them down. And now they are looking to... I think I mentioned during that time that, hey, about a year ago, they had folded Volition into Gearbox. So I thought that was strange because I thought Volition was going to be a support student of Borderlands. Well, now it's starting to make more sense because it looks like Embracer wants to sell off Gearbox. They've owned Gearbox now for only about a year. And they're ready to part ways. Not because necessarily, at least I don't think, anything Gearbox did, but just Embracer's in fucking crisis. It is just all around not going well there for all the reasons we talked about before. Even when they've had some success with Dead Island 2 and Remnant 2, both big successes, but they're just not able to make this work. The Saudi deal seemed to really throw everything into disarray. They had no plan B, apparently.
Nope.
And it's a fucking mess over there. And if I would say Gearbox and maybe Saber were like I'd say that's probably their crown jewels. And like, if they're willing to get rid of Gearbox, then they're willing to get rid of everything. There might not be an Embracer this time in 2 years.
Yep.
And maybe some of these studios can go elsewhere, but some of them are just gonna fucking close, and that is a real shame.
Sad. It's really sad.
It absolutely
honestly
is. I don't... Go ahead.
Like that, it seems like their whole plan was get Saudi money and then profit somehow. Like it's very strange. I don't understand what the idea here was.
Yeah. Me neither. Like, there was a time where money was cheap to borrow, and that's when we had that huge acquisition spree, and I feel like that's winding down now. Obviously, the Activision one still has to close, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that with the way just the global economy is. We're going to be seeing acquisitions like that at such a rapid pace. But so they struck while they could, while the iron was hot. But they had no support. It was like, let's get a bunch of shit, and then we're just gonna have it, and it's all gonna.
Yeah, they just owned it and didn't do anything with it, essentially.
Yeah. And it makes me worried for Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal and Saber. Like, and all the IP they have. They have Lord of the Rings in some fashion. That's confusing to me how that works exactly, because Amazon's doing a show. It's not the movies, right? It's the books.
It's I think it's the original books. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very which is weird because didn't they put out that Gollum game, or that was at Amazon?
I thought that team self-published it.
They might have. Lord of the Rings is the weirdest thing rights-wise. I don't understand it.
Me neither. There's a 4-player mining, it's like Deep Rock Galactic game coming out. I think later this year. Isn't
it like same week as Spider-Man and Mario?
I don't know. That would be fucking suicide if it is. Jesus Christ. That's actually, it reminds me, I forgot to write this down here. But that team that made Legend, no, what the fuck's the name of that game? Immortals of
Avium.
They laid off 50% of their staff this week. But yeah, I don't know a way out for Embracer other than just just reduce size. And maybe if they can get rid of, and when I say get rid of, I hopefully mean sell off 50% of their studios, then maybe they can find something sustainable with, stuff like Dead Island and Remnant. Man, if Gunfire, I didn't even think about Gunfire Games. If something happens to them, I'm going to be very upset. Because Remnant 2 is fucking phenomenal. And it's going to get overlooked this year because it's such a crazy year. So for Gearbox, though, specifically, a lot of people forget Gearbox doesn't own the Borderlands IP. 2K does. Which was always actually part of a weird deal about this. Like, they put out Tiny Tina after they were owned by Embracer, but Embracer didn't publish that. 2K did. Yeah. And, if they do Borderlands 4, it's actually rumored that Borderlands 4 was going to be this year and it got delayed till next year. That would also still be published by 2K. It has to be. So it was always kind of weird that Embracer, where did they fit in there? So anyway, my point is, if Gearbox were to get bought by, let's say, Sony or Microsoft, they couldn't do Borderlands unless whoever bought them also made a separate deal with 2K. And I don't think that would happen. So, I think Gearbox is going to be really tough to sell. Without Borderlands, what do you have there?
We got Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah.
Remember that game?
Yeah. They own Duke Nukem, they own Homeworld, they own Risk of Rain, and, those are all fine, I guess, except Duke Nukem.
People like Risk of Rain. I've never played it, but people like it.
I've been wanting to play it forever. But, none of those are Borderlands big. None of those are...
Not.
They're not something I think Sony or Microsoft would be too interested in. So where do they go? Hopefully 2K buys them. That'd be perfect, because then, hey, then they can stay... They are united with their baby. Or... And this is also a possibility, according to Bloomberg. They go back to being independent. That'd be fine too.
Oh.
But otherwise, they're gonna be bought by somebody who they probably can't do Borderlands anymore. And I know for some people they say, well, good news, make something different, because I'm sick of Borderlands anyway. But I'm not. I still like Borderlands.
I like Borderlands.
Yeah. So yeah,
great.
I don't see happy ending coming here. This feels like a bad situation over at Embracer. And
nature of the business right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really is. Sad. It is. It's like video games are bigger than ever, but it feels like the industry's about to collapse because of shit like this. It's so weird. I don't know. It won't collapse, but obviously I think the industry's going to be completely transformed in the next couple of years because it seems like it's being built on a house of cards right now. Speaking of, Unity is in trouble.
Oh, God.
And the way they've been in trouble for a long time. They had massive layoffs a couple of years ago. And the way they've decided to respond to this is they're going to, not for all their games, but for, the top earners, they're going to charge a fee per installation.
Ooh.
And boy, this news was met with unanimous rage across developers for obvious reasons. I think it was going to be 20 cents per install. They did there was some confusion at first whether this means, hey, if I uninstall the game and reinstall the game on the same machine, will that count? Unity says no, but if you do install on a different machine, say I got a PC and a Steam Deck and I install a game both places, that'll count twice. And this is all, and like how they're kind of calculating this, like Unity's kind of just saying, they're kind of,
bro.
Yeah, essentially. And so people aren't happy about that. And it just seems fucking bad. So they announced this, and the next day they put out a tweet like, "Oh, let's clarify this." And then it was like they just said the same shit. Like,
yeah,
fuck, guys.
It's so stupid. It's really dumb that we're here right now talking. Like,
go ahead.
They shot themselves in the face publicly. Like, that's what it is. Like,
it is desperation.
Yep.
Like I said, they've been in bad shape for quite a while, but this is not the way out, guys. And let's talk about some of these games that are on Unity here. Genshin Impact. Do you think you're gonna get MiHoYo to pay you?
No.
Fuck no. Fall Guys, Among Us, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Are you gonna get the Pokemon Company to pay you? No. Good luck. Hollow Knight, which, you know, if Silksong has to switch engines, that's another delay for Silksong. And Cult of the Lamb. And Cult of the Lamb initially said they were going to pull their game on January 1st. They later said that was a joke. But I wouldn't be shocked if other companies do it.
Nope. I think the funniest part about all this is the implication they're going to make, like, if your game's on Game Pass, they're going to make Microsoft pay the fee. And I'm like, good luck with that.
Yeah, fucking all these companies.
With that.
Microsoft's going to tell you to fuck yourself. Sony's going to tell you to fuck yourself. The Pokemon Company, MiHoYo, they're all going to tell you to fuck yourself. Some of these games are going to switch engines, which is not going to be an easy process.
Nope.
Some of these games, like, even if they backtrack on this, which I feel like, I'm kind of surprised they haven't already, but I still feel like it's inevitable. But even if they do, like, if you're an indie company right now and you're deciding which engine to use, why would you pick Unity when you know that this is something they've thought about doing? This is somebody you cannot trust.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to try to make this retroactive, too. This isn't just on new games going forward. This is going to be on these old games like we talked about, like Genshin Impact. Man, just... This is, I don't think Unity's going to be around much longer, which is a damn shame, because, like, you don't want to see Unreal Engine just be the only engine around.
Yeah, yeah.
There is another, I forget the name of it now, but there was another one that some of these developers were talking about switching to that was not Unreal. Yes, Gal Gadot, that's right. I don't really know if that's comparable to Unity, but it seems like some of these developers were happy enough with it.
I was watching, not watching, I was reading on Twitter, the Dusk guy, I keep forgetting his name, David something.
That's what I would do if I was making a game. Anyway. So, yeah, look forward to that return. Oh, this is...
Oh.
I think I lost you there for a second. Okay. Nah. I got you now. I might have talked over you there. If I did, my bad. We forgot to mention, who's behind all this? Our old bud, John Riccitiello.
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah. If you don't know John Riccitiello, he was head of EA when EA was at its worst as far as being just the greediest company out there. Like, and EA today, I know a lot of people still have, like, there's a lot of people who still use EA as their boogeyman, as their punchline for everything, and I don't think they're that bad today. Like,
not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, they still got problems. Like, I think the FIFA Ultimate Team stuff is still pretty shitty, but, they're making cool shit out there like Dead Space and Jedi Survivor. Anyway, and John Riccitiello is a guy, he said about a year ago, if you're a developer who's not thinking of microtransactions first, then you're a fucking idiot. He said that, he was considering charging players $1 every time they had to reload their gun in Battlefield.
Okay, this guy is not real. Every time I hear a quote from him, I'm convinced he's like a goblin someone made up.
I know. And it's funny because I'm normally not and I'm still not the anti-microtransaction guy. But boy, this guy is just cartoonishly fucking over the top with this stuff.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So, yeah, they got to get him out of there, first of all, and they have to reverse this, because what a goddamn mess. And even if they do all that, honestly, I think this might have been too much damage. Haven't seen developers this, united, and some of them were just out there making, just straight up, like, from the developers, the official Twitter being like, fuck this. Like, yeah. Literally, you don't see that often on, like, official Twitter accounts. They'll usually be more polite about it, but...
Lots of JPEG statements being issued because of this.
Absolutely. The last, I think, terrible story. Square Enix also seems to be in a bit of a crisis.
Yeah.
Their stock has dropped 30% since Final Fantasy 16. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean it's all because of Final Fantasy 16. Mm-hmm. But that is kind of the, hey, it didn't help. And that is kind of the marker that Bloomberg at least was using. Yeah, they're also in a bit of a crisis. Personally, I think going too hard on console exclusivity was a problem, and that seems to be something they're fixing now.
Yep.
They made some bad investments in mobile games and NFTs. Not to say you shouldn't do mobile games, but there's a way to do them and a way to not do them, and it feels
Don't
like
be Square Enix is the idea here. This company is the most... I don't know if there's just too many people there who are making decisions and aren't popular. It's just that they got to get their shit together. Because it's funny because I look at the response to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and I'm like, people love these games. They're ready for them. But Square Enix is so far up its own ass that they can't really turn a profit with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and their expectations are out of whack. Like, even, Final Fantasy VII... the remake of it, it sold well, but it's not, they seem to think that it's going to be doing fucking,
gangbusters.
They think it should be the biggest game in the world, and it's just not that anymore.
No.
Final Fantasy is not that franchise like it used to be. And that should be okay. You should be able to still find a way to make this work. And they can't. There was some stuff in there, too, and now, for some reason, the story won't let me read the whole thing because of the Bloomberg paywall, which didn't... It was letting me read it all before, but there's some stuff in there about how each game is kind of the fiefdom of each producer, and I guess they're not sharing technology a lot is an issue. That seems to be a problem. But something I like, even though I ended up not playing many of them, I like how they experimented with, hey, we're going to put out Starfield Chronicles, and we're going to put out fucking, what was that remake?
Stars.
Also Foam Stars, but I was thinking Live Alive. And, they'll experiment with mid-sized games and just put shit out and see if it catches on. Unfortunately, I don't think many of them did, which is kind of a shame because a lot of them seem like perfectly fine games. Like Starfield Chronicles, I hear is a totally good game. Not amazing, but good. Mm-hmm. I think that kind of experimentation is a good thing, but it just seems like a lot of them didn't work. There was... What's the fucking Sony game with the bad dialogue? With that girl...
Forspoken.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. They make a lot of bad investments that don't turn out. Avengers should have been, the warning sign for them.
Yeah.
But for some reason it wasn't.
Right. And Avengers, I think, ended up costing them on Guardians of the Galaxy, which is supposedly a much better game, but, it paid for Avengers' sins in the market.
Yep.
Yeah, they got new leadership there. There is some signs of turning around, like FF14 is coming to Xbox, and they are supposedly a lot more coming to Xbox. I don't know about the NFT stuff, if they're still... I think the guy has said they're still doing it, but I don't know if there's been any actual signs of it. I hope that's just lip service. Or at least that they're not going to put a bunch of money into it. Because
that's also their problem, is they're, too late. It's too late for that. It's over. It's not a thing anymore.
Right. Yeah, and they need new stuff. Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest... Mm-hmm. Keep them going, but that's not enough by themselves. And they, like I said, they tried new things. They didn't really work out, but hopefully something
They got to be
can catch on to
smarter
something.
in what they invest in, like
Yes.
for sure.
All right, that's enough for bad news now. Let's talk about good stuff. At least I hope. Nintendo Direct happened.
Boo.
It wasn't the best Direct that they've had. The last one they did was far, far better, but...
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
There's a lot here that I actually really liked.
Yeah, none of it absolutely blew me away, but there's some good games here that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
One of them I don't have to look forward to because it's out right fucking now, even though I didn't get a chance to play it myself. And that is F-Zero's back, kinda.
Sorta. In a way.
They dropped, if you're a Nintendo, you have to be a Switch Online member, but they dropped F-Zero 99 in the spirit of Mario 35, Tetris 99, Pac-Man 99. This is 99 players on an F-Zero track, getting eliminated, and the last one, it's a battle royale. You know what? I don't have to explain to you what it is. It's the SNES game, the original F-Zero, in that style. And I've not played it yet, but it looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
I would like to. I might do it tonight. I know some people are upset because it's like, I've been waiting 20 years for F-Zero to come back, and this is what they do. Well, first of all, go ahead.
It's an F-Zero game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an F-Zero game. I think it looks fun, and hey, this is a pathway for them to actually do a real F-Zero.
And it's all pretty much but confirmed that they're making on F-Zero GX. So.
Right. And I expected that to be in the Direct, and it wasn't. Maybe that's the reason people are really upset. If they had done F-Zero 99 and also said, hey, next year is going to be a GX remake, maybe people would be cooler. But, I don't know. Chill out, people. Play F-Zero 99.
It's cool that there's even an F-Zero game out you can play right now.
Absolutely. Captain Falcon finally gets to live again.
Yeah, he's alive.
Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Oh, God. I was so happy when this showed up. I love this game.
I have not played this game. This is...
Okay.
Go ahead.
You gotta play this game, dude.
Oh, I've been looking... It's weird. When I got the Steam Deck, and I finally... It's like, that's the first time I got into emulation. And, like, the first two games I put on there were two games I've always been kind of curious about. One was Paper Mario: Thousand-Year Door, and the other was Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Like... And both of them, I actually forgot to write that one down, but both of them are now getting remade. And so I don't need to play the original versions. I'll just wait for the remakes now. Yeah, I've always heard amazing things about it. I've never got into any of the Paper Marios, truth be told. I know they've been getting kind of not so great recently, but those first three, I think, are beloved.
Amazing video games that I love.
Three seems to be a little bit divisive. That's the one on the Wii.
Yeah, but it's not. It's still got the soul of a Paper Mario game, and I feel like that's not talked about enough because like these new ones don't have it. I like Origami King, but it's not a Paper Mario game.
Right. One of maybe the biggest problem, at least the community always says, is that I think it's directly from Miyamoto, says you can't make new character types. They all have to basically be Toads, and seems like that's winding down because some people like who know this Thousand-Year Door game really, really well watched this trailer and did say there's new characters in here that were not in the original and are not just Toads. So yeah, maybe that's over now. That was a weird thing going on for a while. So that'll be out next year. And also Mario vs. Donkey Kong out next year. Yeah. This is, what we've talked about before. The Switch is winding down with a bunch of remakes, which I think is smart.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
These Nintendo remakes, I think I said this on Twitter. Nintendo makes remakes for games that I only care about because it's like Paper Mario, Trace Memory, which is awesome if you never played the DS game.
Right.
And like all these remakes, I'm like, keep them coming because
Mario RPG. Games.
Yeah.
That got a new trailer, by the way. Yeah, it's a way to, obviously the bulk of their development resources are making games for the next Switch, right? Mm-hmm. But this is still allowing them to put some games out there and not leave Switch owners high and dry.
Yeah.
I think it's the best of both worlds. Plus, just personally for me, it's a lot of games that I've always wanted to play and never got to. I've not played Thousand Year Door. I didn't play Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I never played Mario RPG. So all these are good for me. Unicorn Overlord is the best title for a game ever.
So sick.
It's also the new game from Vanillaware. If you don't know Vanillaware, they are a cult favorite developer. They make awesome games with a very unique art style. Not the biggest games in the world. They did 13 Sentinels. They did Muramasa Demon Blade, Dragon's Crown, Odin's Sphere, stuff like that. This is also the first time they've ever put a game out on Xbox, because this game is not Switch exclusive, Unicorn Overlord. Yeah. It's out on everything, including Xbox. First time they've ever done a game for Xbox. And that's exciting. This is a part tactics game. Mostly tactics, it looks like, but there was some real-time elements to it. It looked strange, but it does have their signature art style. If you watch my react to it, I, like, right from the beginning of the trailer, said, oh, this is Vanillaware, and sure as shit, it was. I have a prediction on this game. It is published by Atlas, by the way. And since it is on Xbox and it is published by Atlas, Atlas loves Game Pass, right? Persona 3 Remix, Game Pass Day 1. Persona 5 Tactica's Game Pass Day 1. Xbox has their Tokyo Game Show stream in like a couple days from now. I think they're going to announce that Unicorn Overlord is on Game Pass.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. I'd also love for this game to come to PC, because 13 Sentinels is not on PC yet, and it's the only thing I'm waiting for to play it.
Is this... Oh, I didn't know that. Is this one not announced for PC?
I don't know. I only saw Switch.
I didn't look. Well, I mean, I looked for... I saw all the consoles. I did not look if it was announced for PC or not. Yeah, it should. It's something that should be... I'd like to play on Steam Deck. Although, if it's on Game Pass, that's where I'll play it. But yeah, final thing that I think worth talking about. Well, actually, I want to quickly mention Trombone Champ was announced for Switch, so that's cool. But the final thing is Princess Peach Showtime was shown off more. First of all, we didn't have a title, so that's new. And it is very good timing on this. It's very Barbie-ish because she's switching outfits to give her different powers. We saw Sword Fighter Princess Peach. We saw Kung Fu Princess Peach. We saw Detective Princess Peach. And she has different abilities in each one, or sort of Kirby-ish also, for that matter. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she goes through different plays, it looks like, and in each play she changes her outfit, which changes her abilities. And so there's, you get different things to do in each level that way. Looks fun. Yeah. There was a moment where she was Kung Fu Peach doing Evo Moment 37, which I thought was hilarious.
I still think this is cross-gen, to be honest, because it's spring and they could easily put this on the new Switch too.
But if the new Switch is backwards compatible, which I think it has to be, then it doesn't necessarily have to have a Switch 2 version.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's the way I think most of these will end up being. Like, it's just almost kind of the same way Xbox did for almost a year, where it's like, hey, this is an Xbox One game, and if you play it on the new console, maybe we'll give you a little more stable frame rate or whatever. I mean, that part's not necessarily Nintendo style, but
yeah, maybe we'll see. I mean, I like being a crazy Nintendo conspiracy theorist. So
yes. There was something else I was going to mention about this game. Oh, this is cosplay bait. 100%. You're going to see Sword Fighter Peach, Kung Fu Peach. You're going to see a million girls dressed up in these, and I'm all for it.
Hell yeah.
Actually, since you mentioned the new Switch, we're going to jump down a bit here, and we're going to say Eurogamer, and I think VGC also, they confirmed, I believe we talked about this last episode, there was some kind of scuttlebutt a little bit leaking around, but now it seems to be more concrete that the next console was shown off to some developers, behind closed doors at Gamescom. They showed a demo of Breath of the Wild running at 60 frames. And they showed that... You remember that Matrix thing of the Unreal Engine 5? They have that apparently running on the next Switch.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, so, if that's true, like, that is like a day one console for me.
I think, with Eurogamer and VGC, I think we can pretty much take it to the bank that this did happen. Plus, it just seems like the timing's right. All right, yeah. They're having to show this off to people now. If they want launch games. So, that should be out. I'm still gonna go ahead and say holiday next year. It seems like maybe it could be a little sooner. There was some rumors that it could be as early as spring. I think that's probably too early. I'd love it. That'd be great, but
Yeah.
doesn't seem right to me. Hey, maybe they go for the summer. Fucking, wouldn't that be
Why
crazy?
not? Why not?
Yeah.
Let's try it. See what
Yeah,
happens.
honestly, like, it feels like a good time. Fucking,
They
the
can
day
still
school,
get those holiday sales.
the day school lets out, fucking, release a new console, and then by that point, maybe when it gets to be holiday, maybe they have more supply, because you know the first couple months, this thing will be supply limited. They always are now. Yeah. PlayStation did a state of play, and I did not get to watch it.
I didn't watch the whole thing either. I just
Yeah.
I just kind of saw what Wario 64 was saying about it, and then just watched the trailers he posted that I was interested in.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it was in the middle of the day, and that's a bad time for my schedule. The Nintendo Direct, they do them at 9 a.m. my time, and I wish it was 10. Like 1 hour later would be better, but like 4 p.m. doesn't work for me. I'm asleep during that because I work nights and sleep in the afternoons. And I will try to get a chance to view it though pretty soon. But I'm gonna grab a water. Talk to me about Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks fucking incredible. There's a lot of great things to talk about for Final Fantasy VII. The horny that will be in unleashed upon the earth because of Vincent Valentine. That's gonna be crazy. You think people are horny for Asterion now? Wait until they meet Vincent Valentine. It's got Cloud on a Segway.
Starion's a fucking creep, by the way.
He is very weird. I don't understand the appeal, and I'm sorry. I know he's popular with the ladies, and I'm not a lady, so that's part of the problem.
Ladies, go for Halcyon.
He's a handsome boy. He's a very handsome boy. But yeah, Rebirth looks incredible. If you are a Final Fantasy VII fan, you are very excited for this game, and I find that people aren't very strange.
That's me.
Yeah, well, you're not a Final Fantasy fan, is the thing.
I know.
But I find that people who aren't the Final Fantasy fans who are they're trying to milk this, and I'm like, no, they're really not, though.
Is that the big complaint among the people?
Because people can't understand that it's a trilogy now, and they keep thinking of oh, this is all expansions, and you can't transfer your save data. There's really no save data to transfer. It's a sequel to the first remake.
Yeah, so and this is, like I said, this is an outside perspective here, but I don't think the Final Fantasy VII story, there's not a lot of choices and branch. No. Yeah, right? So
it's very strange. It's like I don't know how to explain it. I think people have an idea of what this is in their heads, and it's not that, and they can't handle it.
Yeah. That does sound weird. I guess it's just kind of, hey, the new style of RPG is, branching narratives. And I guess that's what some people now think of as, hey, that's what RPGs have to be. But that's just not what FF7 is. It never has been. Weird.
But yeah, I'm excited for this game. I'm very excited.
Yeah, you've been talking about it quite a bit. I mean, not just... I don't mean now. Yeah.
In general, yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. Yeah. That is early next year, correct?
February.
Okay. Spider-Man 2. I also did not get to watch, but you did.
So, okay, I'm gonna put my Sony pony hat on right now because I have to give out some compliments here. Insomniac is one of the best developers in the world. I'm pretty much convinced.
They really are.
These animators are doing crazy work on this game. I don't know if you've seen some of the footage of this game, Eric, but there's some crazy animation work being done. It's nuts, very nuts.
Yeah. It's so nuts to me that I just can't get excited about this, and I don't really know why. Because I liked the first one, and I liked Miles Morales, but I'm just.
I think a lot of that is you're just not into this kind of game anymore, man.
I think you're right. That's a big part of it. Also, the fact that it's the same day as Mario Wonder, that's a no contest to me. I'm going Mario. I'm very excited for Mario, and maybe I'll wrap back around to Spider-Man. And I love Spider-Man. I'm a huge fucking Spider-Man fan. Yeah, I can't get going. Maybe I need to watch this footage, and that'll do it for me. But for right now,
it's fucking crazy looking. Like, this
Yeah.
game is the most insane superhero game I've ever seen. And I'm like, if this is what they're doing for Spider-Man, what's Wolverine gonna look like, you know?
yeah. It's still such a strange fit for me because Wolverine doesn't have that locomotion that Spider-Man does, right? Is that game going to be open world?
No,
I don't think
they confirmed it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Go ahead.
I believe the wording was semi-open, or it's like they have like areas you go to.
Okay. That gets me more excited about that game. Yeah, okay. I'm actually very jazzed about Wolverine now.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I hope that's out next year. I know they're planning on it, but hey, who knows? And then the last bit of news from the state of play, I think, worth talking about is Helldivers 2 got delayed. So I think is that also February?
I want to say it is. Because I was watching footage from that game this morning on my lunch break. And I was like, oh, this looks interesting, but...
February shaping up to be a big month for PlayStation then with FF7 and Helldivers. Oh, also, by the way, the fine print at the bottom of FF7 said it's going to be exclusive for 6 months.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily mean an Xbox version yet. That's probably PC. But now that Square is doing more stuff with Xbox, you know, at that Tokyo Game Show thing we talked about for Unicorn Overlord, I wouldn't be shocked to see FF7 Remake finally announced for Xbox.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if that was on Game Pass.
I would not be surprised if that happens. As well as the Pixel remasters.
Yeah.
Actually, you tell me this because when I was watching the Nintendo Direct, have the Pixel remasters been on Switch yet?
Yeah, they're on Switch. I have a couple of them, yeah.
Okay. And are they on PlayStation yet?
Yes, I believe they are. I think they're on PlayStation 4, not 5, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but you can play them on 5.
Yes.
All right, so Xbox is the last one left. I wouldn't be shocked if that Tokyo Game Show thing that Xbox did last year ended up being like, all right, it's not blockbuster announcements, but you know they announced that BlazBlue and what's the other one? Guilty Gear were coming to Xbox. Fuga 2 was announced there. Like, you know, there's some stuff there. So I'm looking forward to that again this year. If you want to get up at 4 a.m., which I'll be at work, but no DLC happening for Tears of the Kingdom.
Not shocking.
Yeah, I don't think so either. A lot of people were. They sold a season pass for Breath of the Wild before that game came out, and they didn't do it for Tears of the Kingdom, which always seemed off to me. That's almost makes me think they're doing like almost a Majora's Mask type of thing for the next console. Or
I think the more likely answer is I think whatever the next Zelda is, it's not going to be like these games. Because Ayanuma in that interview sounds like he's like, I think I've done everything I could for this kind of game.
But if you go backwards to like I
don't think they're going to go backwards. I don't think
they're going to go backwards. Well, then what the hell are they going to do?
He sounds like he's like trying to think of what's next.
Yeah. Oh, man. That is both scary and exciting. Because
I kind of hope it's something new, honestly.
For a lot of people now, like, this is what Zelda is.
Sure.
For Breath of the Wild and Tears
and there's
of the
nothing wrong with that. It's just like, for me personally, I'm like, I want something new.
I guess for me, it depends on how new we're talking. Like, yes. I don't want that formula thrown away. I fucking love those games. I want it to still be a very open game that still lets you really tackle things how you want. Gives you a lot of player freedom, which I think is the new trend now. We've talked about that before. That I feel that I don't know, just making your own fun in games between Starfield and Zelda and Baldur's Gate. Like, it does feel like that seems to be where the industry is going, rather than these kind of tight linear experiences. In many ways, like, I mean, obviously there's room enough for everything, but you know what I'm saying. Hey, guess what? E3's dead again. Reed Pop has officially split from the ESA, which they never end up putting on a show. Like, they had made that deal for last year's show that got canceled. So, there is going to be no E3 in 2024. Supposedly they want to try again for 2025, but I'm not hopeful.
Stop.
I know. Well, the thing is, like, if the ESA doesn't have E3, then they don't have money coming in. At least not much of it. Like, that was their big money earner. But if ReedPop can't do it, because they're, if people don't know, ReedPop is the company that puts on PAX and shit. Like, they know how to put on events, and they just, I guess, couldn't get the ESA to agree to what they wanted to do or something. But if they can't do it, then who the fuck can?
Do we even need E3 anymore? Do we need it?
No, I mean, the last couple of years have shown that, hey, Keighley's coming on strong. It's not quite the same thing, this Summer Game Fest, but it's good. It's good enough.
And the devs seem to like it. Like, it's not...
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm overall happy with it. The industry seems happy with it. So I suppose not. Now, the E3, the only thing that's still, like, missing is the E3 name, which is very valuable. The E3 name is still huge, but like that's all you got now. And I don't know if they can sell it off to somebody else or what. I don't think Keighley would be interested in buying it. Like that seems to be kind of the answer everyone's going to is they merge them. Like why the fuck does Keighley need them anymore?
Doesn't make sense anymore. Honestly.
No. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be back in 2025, personally. Nope. Only Up got pulled from Steam a while back. Seems like it initially got pulled because of some assets that were used in that game that were not theirs.
Yep.
But seems like it's not coming back at all due to stress on the developer. This game was huge on Twitch for a hot minute there. Mm-hmm. This feels like a Flappy Bird situation where... Yep. The guy feels like this was too much, and I don't want to deal with all this shit, and I'm not putting the game back up.
I don't blame him, honestly. That seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot, but it also just seems crazy to just, like, it's just
like, no more.
Gone. Like, this game was huge, for like I said, for a second there. And it seemed like a fun game. Yeah, I don't know. That's it's kind of a shame. I do think you'll see, and I think you already are seeing now, like competitors and that I guess you can't even call it a competitor if the original's gone, but replacements,
clones.
Yeah. That's probably a better word. You're 100% right. Yeah, just a weird. I don't know. I don't want to say
strange situation.
Yeah. I don't want to call it a flash in the pan because that seems like it's mean, but I guess it is just like a weird flash in the pan now. Just gone. Gone forever. Donald Mustard's retiring. Donald Mustard is been at Epic Games for a long-ass time. One of the top guys there ever since... what's the name of that game? Shadow Complex.
Yep.
Shadow Complex and Infinity Blade, and then he's been a huge part of Fortnite. He's gone. I think he's already gone. And it seems like he's not necessarily leaving to go somewhere else. Sounds like he's just retiring.
Hey, why not?
Chief Creative Officer. That's the...
he's got that Fortnite money. He's retiring.
Yeah, he sure does.
I would do the same thing.
I'm sure he's very well off.
Is his replacement named Richard Ketchup?
Yes, absolutely. They actually did name his replacement. I didn't write down his name, but... Somebody else who's been there, like, was under him for a long time, so... that is a career of a hell of a lot of accomplishments, and hats off to you, Donald Mustard.
He made Fortnite. Congratulations.
One of the guys. Yeah, I mean, he was... Remember how long Fortnite was in development? Like,
yeah.
When it was still, a tower defense game and all this shit? And
yeah.
It was
weird.
It is. Like, that... If people... I don't know if kind of the whole... Because it wasn't a game people were paying attention to until it was a Battle Royale. But that game was announced, like, 7 years before it eventually came out. Just the whole story of it. I'm sure there's going to be a great book at some point about kind of the history of Fortnite. Cliffy B was initially on that game. Like, that's how long it's been.
I bet he's kicking himself now.
Well... Yeah, I mean, shit, he seems pretty happy with his Playboy wife. But
sure, why not? Hey.
Stig Asmussen is leaving Respawn. Stig Asmussen is the guy behind the last two Jedi games. and he's out of there. Seems to be a lot of people have left Respawn since they got bought by EA. We've kind of talked about this sort of thing before. A lot of times these studios get bought, and some of the top guys there get stock deals, but you can't cash that out unless you stay with the company for X number of years. Usually it's like 5, although it's been longer than 5 years at this point for Stig. And then they cash out and start a new studio somewhere else. And now I don't know if that's for sure what Stig's doing, but he could. He's definitely like a guy with enough cachet and enough reputation that if he decides, hey, I'm starting a brand new studio on my own, like that's something people would be interested in.
Yeah, I mean Jedi Survivor is so fucking good. Like he's got the cash, you know.
I believe, if I remember this right, he was the combat designer on some of the initial God of War games.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
All right. This is the guy who knows how to make things fight each other. So, good for you, Stig. Mario Kart Tour's last content is coming next month in October, and that is the end.
Is it like the mobile game?
Yeah. It's still staying up. You can still play it, but it's not going to be getting new content anymore. These Nintendo mobile games, it seems like Fire Emblem Heroes hit, and that's kind of it. Everything else seems to not necessarily be...
It's funny, because there was a period of time, I remember, when you get those transcripts of their investor meetings, or like the board meetings, and they're all like, when we come to mobile, when we come to mobile, and then these games come out, and nothing.
Right. I don't know if it's necessarily... I mean, I know they tried with Super Mario Run to do, a game you paid for, and I did buy that game. I didn't end up playing it very much, but I bought it because of the weird... Like, I just wanted to try it because it was such a novel thing at the time. But some of these other games, it feels like necessarily weren't a great... it seems like they didn't cater them to mobile necessarily. Like, my thing is, on Mario Kart, for mobile, I don't think they should have done it as a racing game necessarily. I think it should have been a management sim where you are like in charge of a team of racers on the Mario Kart Tour or whatever. You're not necessarily controlling them racing, but you're like managing them. And you're upgrading their karts and firing and rehiring people on your team. And
you gotta fire Donkey Kong because he's been drinking the job.
Yes! I think that would be really fun. And a better fit for mobile, personally. But, it did last quite a long time, a couple of years now. And they put a lot of those courses from that game into Mario Kart 8 through the DLC thing now. But anyway, that's winding down. And I guess as far as Nintendo Mobile... Hey, you remember Dragalia Lost, come to think of it?
No, I don't.
Oh, that was a mobile... It was a Nintendo original property specifically made for mobile. And
what?
There's a reason you don't remember it. And I don't even think it was necessarily a bad game, but just...
That's crazy. I don't remember this game at all.
I remember when it first debuted, it was while Smash Brothers was still in development. People were like, I wonder if they would put a character from that in Smash. Anyway, though, like, I don't think there's any other Nintendo mobile games still that are an ongoing concern other than Fire Emblem Heroes, I think is still going. And, Pokemon Go, but that's not really Nintendo.
Yeah, it's Niantic.
Yeah, so, kind of... I don't know if I want to say a shame, because I don't necessarily need Nintendo to be making mobile games, but a surprise to me. But speaking of mobile, iPhone 15 was announced, and they're putting, at least the iPhone 15 Pro is getting some AAA games put on it natively. Death Stranding, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4, and Assassin's Creed Mirage. Do you think this is something we're going to see a lot more of? Really? I kind of don't. Oh.
Yep.
I'm actually, because this is, supposedly with these 4, Apple has stepped in and are really making this happen. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel like Apple doesn't have the taste to do this long term.
No, but they have the money, and that's what's important. Yeah. I think this is what, at some point in our lives, what games are going to be. So you can play on your phone or you can stream to your TV. I think that's going to be the two options.
Wow.
It's funny though, because this is actually super useful and cool that you can do this on your phone. Like, that's how fast phone technology has moved. You can play Assassin's Creed Mirage on your phone. A game that maybe my PS5 will be able to run, you know?
And it's not streaming, which is what, I guess that's kind of the direction I expected it to go, because then they don't have to necessarily make a separate, Ubisoft wouldn't have to make a separate version. They could just make their PC and console version and then stream that to phones. It wouldn't take extra work.
Yeah.
And also, of course, Apple has Apple Arcade, which I guess is still successful. I don't know. I don't hear about Apple Arcade very often, but it does get updates here and there. There's actually a Ninja Turtles game on there now that I really want to play, so I hope it comes elsewhere at some point. Yeah. It's like a Hades Ninja Turtles game.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and
seems like it should be a bigger deal than it is.
Right? There's some things on Apple Arcade there to you look at and people. I think people would be interested in this, but you just don't hear about this stuff very often. But I don't know. These, I don't know. This was a surprise to me. These 4 games, just the fact that they're native ports is strange. But I don't know if we're gonna. Like I said, I just feels like every decade or so, Apple comes out and says we're gonna take games seriously, and then it just falls off. It feels like something they get bored with. And I just guess I don't know if they're gonna have the gumption, I guess we'll say, to stick with it long term. I kind of hope so, I guess. I don't know. That's not where I want to play games, of course, but I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just talking now. I'm not making much sense.
No, I think, honestly, it is a possibility that they just stop. But at the same time, I look at this and I'm like, I could see that being appealing to a lot of people, especially kids. Because, kids aren't really playing consoles. They're playing on their phones or their iPads.
They are. Right? How are they? Are these going to be sold for $60? Or I guess I
have no idea what the price of these things are going to be.
Yeah. There's a lot of kids out there, just the idea of paying for video games is strange to them.
Yeah, it's strange.
Fortnite's free. Fucking all these games are free. Sucker Shoe developer, they had a fire. These guys can't catch a break. It's just a long string of terrible, unfortunate things happening to them.
Yeah.
Really a damn shame. They make it sound like, first of all, nobody was hurt, thankfully. They also made it sound like it's not going to impact the game too much.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, whatever servers the game is on or whatever weren't damaged, so.
It's just... It's a shame because this game is people love Stalker. I've never played the first one, but people are really high on this franchise and they've had such bad luck.
Yeah,
and it's can't catch a break.
I really hope that it even it's probably not my type of game, but I hope it turns out well for them. It's a huge success, and because boy, you just hate to see it.
It's got a hell of a story.
Guys.
And that's all pretty great that they're still able to work on it.
Wild Hearts came out 7 months ago now, and supposedly content for it is over. Yeah, but I'm okay with that, honestly.
Yeah.
First of all, I like this game. I would like to play more of it because I didn't end up playing a ton of it, but I think it's cool. But it's not a live service game. It was never necessarily designed to be a live service game. I think 7 months of content is pretty good. I don't think they ever added anything crazy. They added, new variations on monsters and some stuff. It's probably not all they wanted to add, but I also think it was quite a bit for, what is ostensibly what do we call games that aren't live service? We need a name for that, right?
Regular games.
Yeah, okay. For essentially a regular game, I feel like it had a good amount of content, and good for them. I don't know if it was a success, but
the fact that they kept working on it is actually pretty commendable.
Yeah,
because it seemed like it came out and just kind of disappeared from public eye for a little bit,
it did.
And they were still releasing content for it.
Yeah. Now, because it's an EA game, it's going to eventually hit EA Play / Game Pass. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened yet, honestly. Which also Jedi Survivor will at some point, and the other game we talked about, Mortals of Avion, at some point. Mortals of Avion, they might want to hurry up and put that on. But I said the same thing about Wild Hearts, and they still haven't, so who knows. And the final thing, hey, you know what game got an update? Was Titanfall 2.
Wow.
I know. And now people are going crazy because, first of all, this game's been broken for quite a while. Seems like this has fixed it. As far as, server issues and hackers, I think, was the biggest problem. Most of that stuff is fixed, so you can play this game now. There was also some map problems that let you go out of bounds that have been fixed, but the thing that is really getting people buzzing here is what each place where they fixed that, where the map, the out of bounds glitch existed, they put a little plushie of a Nessie there, which is a thing from Apex Legends. Huh. They put that on the map, and then also people are thinking that, of course, people are thinking, right? But that a lot of people are now hoping for Titanfall 3, and there was what the hell do you call it? A new Apex season has some hidden stuff in there, and some people are trying to draw a connection to Titanfall there.
People should not get their hopes up.
I agree. First of all, I would love it. I would love to be wrong.
I'm not gonna say I would be excited for Titanfall 3, but I think we need to manage our expectations here. This is still EA we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they might be better now, but, Right.
And also, what's your face? Respawn is just so busy. Mm-hmm. Jedi Survivor still getting updates. We know they're also working on the third game in that series. Apex is still going. There's a Star Wars shooter in development there. They're also managing a Star Wars tactics game that Respawn isn't making, but they're overseeing another team that is making of X for X's people.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're just busy. Also, didn't they take over Battlefield? Or at least I think what's the name of the Respawn guy? I forget his name. Damn it. The guy in charge at Respawn, but I think
No.
Yeah. Damn it. Whatever. Well, whatever. I think he is now overseeing Battlefield, but it's not necessarily at Respawn. It's still going to be at DICE, but he's going to take it over. So, whatever. My point is they're busy as hell. I guess the only thing I could see, and even this is a long shot, but if maybe the Star Wars shooter they were doing, if for whatever reason Star Wars pulled out and they're now just converting it over to a Titanfall thing, but I don't even think that's likely. What is possible is maybe they're doing a Titanfall thing in Apex Legends, maybe. Although they were at some point doing a campaign for Apex Legends that almost seemed like a Titanfall 3, but they canceled that. Maybe they're gonna revive it in some fashion. I don't know. Who knows? Probably nothing. Probably just an update. And but either way,
noise.
Yeah. But either way, you can play Titanfall 2 again, and it's not broken, and that's great. And I believe that is all she wrote.
Yes, it is. There's no more news ever again. News is over.
I hope not. That'd be nice.
No more discourse. We're done with discourse.
Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mango Sentinel, Mango SNTL. Well, wow, my brain just exploded. I'm also on Threads on Mango SNTL. You can listen to the Comic Club, which is coming back. I've been discussing with Frank. Our schedules are a little crazy right now. Well, mine is. Yep. His is opening up considerably. Mine's just a mess. Yeah, you can listen to Phantom Zone. I'm there occasionally. I haven't been on often because I've been doing a lot of overtime. And yeah, you can just find me around. I'll be streaming soon once I build a new PC. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me. What about you, Eric?
I am on Twitter. My favorite website in the world. Blackcard JV, but more importantly, right here on youtube.com/FreshleyStreamGames. Like I said, I've been so Baldur's Gate obsessed, I have not been putting out as much content as I would like. But I need to, and I will, probably as soon as I finish Baldur's Gate. I might edit some stuff tonight to put out. Or I might just play Baldur's Gate. That's very possible.
Baldur's Gate is always there for you.
Yes. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll probably talk about this Xbox thing, the TGS show they're doing. And I don't know what else is coming out in the next 2 weeks. I have to look at the calendar, but I'm sure there'll be some games to talk about. Or, hey, we might talk about Starfield and Baldur's Gate. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll see.
We'll see you back here next time. Goodbye.
Bye.